Welcome to the term paper. This is a series of 1 of 3 videos instructing you on how to begin, research, and write your term paper. So let's get started. First thing about the term paper is that it measures the proficiency, just like everything else, of your academic writing supplemented, which means added to, by outside research. The prompt for the term paper is provided by the instructor, and I'll show that to you in a second. Each term paper is written in a 5-paragraph essay. So you will actually type it up outside of class and submit it in class. It's not super long. It'll be between 3 to 5 pages at most. It's worth 100 points of your overall points for the class. It is scored with the rubric, which is in a separate video, and it is thesis driven, supported by historical evidence and outside research. So you'll pull stuff from class and then you'll supplement that with information you find on your own. Okay, so the prompt, if you want to pause it for a second and read this. Okay, so we're going to be comparing the Jamestown and New England colonies, and we're going to be looking at 3 of the 4 areas to compare and contrast them. Mainly, this is a contrast essay. We're seeing how and why these colonies were different. I do want to make an important note. We're talking specifically about Jamestown, but keep in mind that Jamestown is sometimes referred to as the Virginia colony. So in your research, if you can't find something for Jamestown specifically, try a broader search with Virginia colony in place of Jamestown. Okay, so our pre-writing steps, you're going to identify 3 of the areas that you want to write about from this list. Then you're going to complete the pre-writing worksheet, which I'll show you in a second. And then you're going to determine why there were differences caused in these 2 areas. So let me show you the pre-writing worksheet because that's going to make everything a lot clearer for you. So if you click on the Google Sheets document, that is called Pre-Writing Worksheet, and I've lost myself here. Let's see if I can put myself down here in the corner. Maybe. Okay, so the pre-writing worksheet will look like this when you get it, and this is how it's set up. It's broken down into your 3 body paragraphs. The first 2 columns are your historical evidence. The second 2 columns are your historical argument. So in your essay, this is your E of the T and this is your A. At the top, you will select a topic that you are going to be writing about. It's a drop-down list. So if you click on the arrow, let's say you want to do society, social class, and slavery, you select that topic. Then you're going to go to your class notes and you're going to enter in all the information about the Jamestown or Virginia colony you know about society, social class, and slavery. You'll go to your notes from the lesson videos and do the same for New England. In this column, you will just describe the difference you see between these 2 columns. What's different about society, social class, and slavery in Jamestown and society, social class, and slavery in New England? Obviously, slavery is going to be a big part of that discussion. Once you've described the difference, then you need to ask yourself, why did this difference occur? What caused that to be different? Why weren't they the same? They're both English colonies. They're both in the New World. What made them go in radically different directions? And you're going to explain that here using a because statement. Then you'll go to your second paragraph and you're going to select from the list. This time we're going to do government and politics. Go to our lessons, enter everything we have from our notes and the YouTube lessons on Jamestown and Virginia and politics and New England. It may also be referred to in your notes as the Chesapeake. I guess I should point that out as well. You'll do a summary describing the difference between the 2 and then an explanation of that difference that you come up with. These are not going to come from your notes. They're going to come from your little brains based on what you're looking at over here. Everything here comes from your class notes or from the videos or the end of lesson, wherever you put your information. There is no additional research here. All historical evidence comes from what we've already told you in class. Then you'll do your third body paragraph. You'll select from the list, go to economic foundations, write about the economy of Jamestown. Obviously, you're going to mention tobacco and the economy of New England, describe the difference between the two, and then come up with a historical reason why they went in completely different directions. When you complete this worksheet, this pre-writing worksheet, your paper is like 75% finished. So let's take a second and look at a sample pre-writing worksheet. And I did one here using Pennsylvania and Maryland instead of Jamestown and New England, because I'm not going to write your paper for you. So if you want to pause the video and read, I don't know if I can get myself, yep, I can. I'll be out of your way for 2 of the body paragraphs. Keep in mind, these come from the notes in class. This is a difference that I identified. Notice I've got because in it. This is strictly describing what was different. Why were they different in that area? And then over here, I've got an explanation for that difference. Pause the video and read through these. You won't be able to get to the third body paragraph, but when you look at this Google Sheets document live, you can scroll down and see that. Okay, welcome back. A couple things about entering information here if you're not familiar with Google Sheets. These are called cells, and you can type information straight into them. I'm just going to add some information and hit enter, and then it gets added to the cell. That's how spreadsheets work. So I just made a list of facts from my notes on both of these that were relevant to government and politics in the 2 colonies. Then I did an analysis and I said, okay, what's different about these? You'll notice that I start my difference out with the paragraph topic. Government and politics were different in Pennsylvania and Maryland because. That was a real simple intro to this, and then I described the difference between the 2. Then I had to think, I had to put on my thinking cap and say, okay, why did that difference occur? And so it occurred to me, well, it was because of religion was important in Pennsylvania, but money was the religion of Maryland. So religious views weren't as important. You'll notice I start these paragraphs the same way. The difference in government and politics was explained by religion because, so I've identified the factor, the single solitary factor that caused the difference. Religion, and then if you can scroll down, or you can't, but I can, environment was the cause of the third one here, which is economic. So religion caused government and political differences, religion caused social class and slavery differences, and environment caused economic differences between the colonies. But I had to figure that out for myself. That answer wasn't clearly written out somewhere. I looked at my evidence and figured out my difference. So with that said, let's go back to our presentation. So we will have identified the 3 areas. That's the drop-down menus that we used in the worksheet. We then completed the pre-writing worksheet, pulling information from our lecture notes about Jamestown or the Chesapeake or Virginia colony. And then we independently came up with a reason to describe the difference and explain why that difference occurred. Now we have to write a thesis. And I've given you a template to start your thesis, and use this exactly as it is. You're basically filling in the blanks for your thesis. The Jamestown and New England colonies differed in the areas of blank, blank, and blank. Those are the 3 things that you picked from here. And you can reword them. For example, if you just talk about social class and slavery, you don't have to say society. Or you might want to reword foundations. That's fine. That's up to you. But those first 3 blanks are your 3 topics that you've used. Those are the 3 drop-down menus from your worksheet. And then we have our argument that these they differed in these three areas because of differences in three other things. So let's look at a sample for the worksheet we just looked at. The Pennsylvania and Maryland colonies differed in the areas of government and politics, society and social class and slavery, and economic foundations because of differences in religion and environment. Now, a couple things for my thesis. One, you'll notice I separate these with semicolons. That's because there's commas within this one, so otherwise you'd have too many commas. So when you list your three categories, they should be semicolons. If you have society and social class and slavery as one of them. It's a minor mechanical difference, but I did want to point that out. Down here, you'll notice I have two blanks filled, religion and environment. Here I have the opportunity for three. For my particular essay, because religion was the cause of two things, social differences and government differences, I only am using two blanks, religion and environment. If you duplicate a cause, then you just knock out one of these blanks. If you are a genius and you find one thing that caused all your differences, you would just use one blank here. So now you've got your thesis written. You've got your historical evidence collected. You've got it imported into your worksheet. Now you're ready to do your supplemental research. So that will be part 2 of the term paper video series. If you have questions on what I did today, shoot me an email or talk to your teacher. And as always, have a great day.